What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another live stream coming at you from the V1 HQ here in North Texas. Man, it's good to be back. I am so excited for today's stream. In front of you now, we have my personal favorite narrow-body 320 family Airbus. This is the Airbus A319 from Toliss. The new update, fully compatible with XP12, comes with a new model, some new features, quite a few new features actually. We're going to go over all that today on stream. And we're going to compare a couple things. I was going to stream this yesterday, but I got called for to see if I wanted to do some flying in real life, and just so happened to be in a 319. So some of the members got to see the shorts video I made about that, doing some 319 flying yesterday. So I am fresh out of the gate with some 319 flying under my belt. I did about 7.5 hours yesterday in a 319. I did some holding, I did some weather avoidance. I had a little interesting failure in cruise, a little landing gear fault that caused us to lose reversers and a couple other things. But that was all sorted out, and we got that worked out. So I am fully prepped. I got my work iPad here ready to go in case the Toliss decides to throw any random faults at me today like it did in the 321 2 days ago. But I'm excited to get this thing fired up and see what we got, because there's something about the 319 that I just really enjoy. Really do enjoy flying the 319 in real life, and I enjoy flying it in the sim as well. I feel like it's kind of that little Swiss Army knife airliner that you can take in and out of any airport that's got a short runway, high density altitude, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get this thing started with you. Brad K, Benny, good to see you. Robert S, Stephen Hayner, Holger Teutsch in the house. Good to see you, sir. Sorry, I feel like I just had one of these little biscuits from the airplane, and because I don't have any lunch with me right now, I decided to stream before getting lunch, and I had one of these little biscuits, and it gets like stuck in my throat, so I apologize for that. We are in Phoenix, Flipper Crow. We're actually in a Nimbus Phoenix for X-Plane 11. I just threw it in here for X-Plane 12. We're going to see if it works. I don't know if it's going to look all right or whatnot. We will be flying over some orbits in California. We're going Phoenix to San Jose, California. A little bit longer flight. What we might do is we're going to take off. We're going to set everything up like it's an A to B flight, and then I'm going to do some maneuvering. I just want to test some other things that have been some features of the airplane, some alternate law stuff. We're going to mess around with it, and then we're going to continue. And what we might do instead of going all the way to San Jose is we might just do a diversion. If you guys want to see a diversion, I know we've done a few of them here on the channel, but sometimes it's kind of fun to do stuff that's a little bit abnormal. So we might do an in-flight diversion as well. So yeah, that Austrian CRJ is a long way from home. Yeah, I still have the default airplanes on. I got to tell you what, I was trying to configure the sim earlier, and I'm just like, nah, I don't know. I can't wait to see what this sim looks like in a year, but because it's a 319, I got to get back in X-Plane 12, and we got to test this airplane out because I am extremely excited to see what is on the table now. So if you haven't already, let's go ahead and smash that like button. Let's get this airplane fired up, shall we? Here we go. Cheers from Rio. What's going on, Bruno? Good to see you, man. We're going to be back in Rio here in the next stream, most likely. We're going to be doing our long haul in the A340. So we're going to be doing a long haul A340 from Rio to Saint Martin. Probably, I don't know if we're going to do it this weekend. We might do it next week. We might do it during the weekday. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a 6-hour flight, but nevertheless, let's get this airplane fired up. Let's stop delaying. I'm going to turn up the sounds. I am running a completely default Toliss A319 for the stream. No sound pack add-ons, no texture add-ons, or like no engine mods or anything like that. Everything you see is completely vanilla, updated for X-Plane 12. So let's go ahead and fire it up. And one last thing before I go. So the outside, like the texturing looks good, right? Like the wings, and if I come near my wing view, like I'm actually pretty happy with that. You know, I'm pretty darn happy with that. The one thing I don't fully understand yet, and I don't know if it's a livery thing, but like you can kind of see segments of the airplane here, and I don't know. Maybe that's a livery thing because this is an older livery that was designed for X-Plane 11. I don't know if that's a livery thing or a Toliss thing that can be fixed in the future, but that's the one thing I noticed. I was like, oh, that's kind of odd seeing all those fuselage lines there. I mean, it kind of looks like like joints in the real airplane, where over time, when the airplanes get really old, you can see where all the rivets start popping because the pressurization keeps swelling, and every time you take off, it gets the pressurization, obviously the cabin swells a little bit and the paint starts to chips on all the seams. That's kind of what it looks like. So It doesn't necessarily look terrible. It just looks like this airplane is extremely old and about ready to go to the graveyard. But other than that, that's really my only gripe on the outsides. I'm actually pretty impressed with the texturing so far in the new model here. VT Jake, what's going on, man? Thank you for the $10 super chat. It says, OG, my favorite flight sim streamer. Let's go, VT Jake. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the super chat. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the road so you don't have to be wondering what the hell we're doing here. So we're gonna get it fired up. Thank you, VT. Appreciate it, man. She has outgrown delivery. Maybe, SK. Maybe. All right, so we got our volts on there. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Battery 1, battery 2. I hope the sounds are up, and I've configured everything. And just so you guys know, you have random faults on. And for this airplane, I have moved my performance adjustments way up because it's an older airplane, 319. I just want to make it feel like it's older. Let's go ahead and power up the aircraft here. Let it come to life. We got the dome light on, or do we? Yeah, let's go bright on the dome light. We're in sunrise mode here in X-Plane 12 just because middle of the day X-Plane 12 make you want to gouge your eyes out still, but that's just because it's default scenery. But sunset, sunrise, and nighttime in X-Plane 12 is actually not that bad. So that's what we're doing here. I love the power-up sequence of the screens here. Everything is looking good. And I do have, this is a small thing, but I really love that they added this. I talked about it on the 321, but it's on the general settings. Start with bright displays. I've turned that on. It's just something so simple, but it's a nice little feature because you don't have to come in here and brighten everything up. Now, if you want to go to 100%, you still have to go through, but starting at 80%, love it. Metal fatigue, exactly, Mr. Fartini. What did I say? Mr. Martini, thank you, dude, appreciate it. FPS Dumbo 61, FPS is great. Matter of fact, let me see real quick because I am actually. Let's just show it right now for a little bit. So right now on the ground, I'm getting 35 frames in a X-Plane 11 scenery. This is an X-Plane 11 Nimbus Phoenix. So we'll check again in cruise when we start flying over some Orbix stuff. So right now, 35 steady while streaming. I'm happy with that. And again, my sim is maxed out too. So I have all my graphics settings to the maximum. Haven't really fully tweaked the sim yet. Just kind of putting it through its paces. Yeah, Crow, that's what I thought I said. Okay, let's continue with our overhead flow, right? Up the left-hand side, cruise supply can come on, ground control on, CVR test. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and get our ADIRs aligned. I just love being in a 319, not gonna lie. It's just nice to be home. We'll wait for the on-bat light to extinguish. There we go. We'll continue with our overhead flow. Strobe into auto, nav position 1, because I'm going to be flying the aircraft today. Seatbelts off, no smoking into auto. Emergency exit lights arm. That is good. And continuing up, where landing field elevation is in auto. And again, look at how clean the overhead is. Somebody pointed this out in my last stream on the 321, and I didn't think I paused enough, but the overhead, honestly, looks very, very clean. If you remember what the 319 first looked like when it dropped out, like the original 319 release, the texturing has been really, really stepped up. And I'm going to give credit where credit's due, and I'll give criticism where criticism is due. But I got to tell you, this overhead looks really nice. I'm really enjoying the look of the overhead. We'll put pack flow in normal for now. Continuing up on the overhead panel, everything looks good. Let's do fire test. Remember, all default sounds. And again, this is X-Plane, so I'll show you what we're actually looking for when you do a fire test. It is modeled, so fire test, engine 2 fire. We're looking for all those, and then of course you'd be looking for the engine fire light on the center pedestal as well. So that looks good. Up the right-hand side, everything looks good. We're going to turn on the third ACP. PA is out and halfway. That looks good. Let's continue down here with our center pedestal. AirX cycle, we got a good cycle. Let's turn on the radio panel here. Everything is off down there. Matter of fact, I'll just put multi-scan and GCS in auto. That's kind of the default configuration. We leave multi-scan most of the time in auto, GCS in auto, but of course radar off, PWS off while we're at the gate. Then looking at the lower ECAM display, let's run through a couple systems. Engine oil quantity is good. I'm going to check the pressurization, make sure it is in auto. We have amber X's here because we do not have any flight plan database and no alignment yet, so it doesn't know where it is and it doesn't know where we're going, so it can't properly pull the landing elevation out of the database. That is correct. Hydraulic check, we are over-serviced across the board. Always makes me a little bit nervous when I see all three slightly over-serviced, but they are technically in the green. And what I mean by over-serviced, if I zoom way in on it here, the white box is considered normal level. Now, in flight, The green hydraulic, it is normal to see it about halfway down. We're going to have to check again when we get airborne. Somebody remind me if I forget. When we get airborne, we're going to check to see the status of the green hydraulic system when airborne, because when the gear is up, it's actually being held in position by green hydraulic pressure. So the green system is displaced out of the reservoir holding the gear up, and it's normal to see it about halfway down here. But on the ground, everything should be at least in the white box, either on the top end or bottom end. If it was below or above even, you would contact maintenance. And being over-serviced is just as dangerous. Maybe I wouldn't say just as dangerous, but it is a non-normal to have an over-service. You wouldn't want to see the green caret up here like halfway on the blue or on the yellow, and you'd want to contact maintenance. And I've actually seen a write-up in the book, in the maintenance log, saying, hey, aircraft is over-serviced, need to drain some fluid out. But that looks good there on the hydraulic page. Door page, we'll bring it back up, make sure our cockpit oxygen is good. And quick note, and I know they modeled this in the Neo, if you fly the 321 Neo, when you come to your door oxygen page, you're going to have 2 sets of PSIs. That's because on the Neo, same with the 320, there is actually 2 oxygen bottles. In the 319 and the 320 non-Neo, or CEO, it is just a single oxygen bottle. So good to see that little detail there correctly implemented. Continuing down the back here, off, parking brake is set for now. Beautiful. Everything looks good there. Let's go ahead and pull up our flight plan here real quick. Javier, if the green hydraulic is holding gear up, wouldn't the gear drop if you lose that system? Not necessarily, Javier, but because there are up locks, so it's holding mechanical locks in place. It's a redundant. So you have the pressure and you have up locks. But you're on the right track, Javier, because if you were to do an emergency gear extension, what happens is you rotate this handle 3 times, okay? The first time releases the up locks for the gear doors. The second rotation, I think I'm getting this right, releases the pressure in the green system, which would then let the gear free fall. And I forget what the third turn does. I think I might have got that sequence wrong. It's been a minute since I looked at that. But Javier, you're on the right track, because to do an emergency gear extension, one of the turns in the 3 turns that is required to lower the gear, one of them releases the mechanical up locks. The second one releases the pressure in the green hydraulic system. So, and also in a normal situation, Javier, if you're flying around and you lose green, what's going to happen? PTU is going to pick up, right? We're going to bring yellow. The PTU is going to kick on. It's going to pressurize green. It's still going to help you out. So technically, depending on the failure, it may not be as dramatic. Now, yeah, it did get suddenly dark, and that's because the sun, I think, officially is rising. Just X-plane to an X-plane. We're going to just let it do its thing. Okay. What I want to do here is pull our sim brief. So I did this before. We're going to go back here. I'm going to do a init request. Boom. Look at that. Pretty cool. So again, you can set this up just like the 321. You got your sim brief ID, and remember, it is the numerical ID, not your sim brief username. So it's a numerical ID that you put in there, and that'll pull your flight plan out. I got Phoenix to San Jose. We got Sacramento as an alternate. That looks good there. It even brought in the Tropo cost index of 6. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So let's go ahead and look at our route, and you'll see that it correctly leaves out the departure and arrivals. So the stars and SIDS are left out, and the runways are left out. That is normal, and that is correctly simulated on the implementation of the ACARS. That's how it would be done in real life. It drops out the runways and the SIDS and stars. All right, so our flight plan is in there. We'll go ahead and continue with that. Let's go. We're going to depart Phoenix. Let's pull up some old school weather here. PXR details. Few visibility. 3-3, what? Wind light and variable, 299 or 1. Okay, I don't know what those numbers are. Visibility 3-3, temperature 9-4, I guess? Or temperature 3-3. I don't know what, this is kind of a weird METAR layout. But doesn't matter. We're going to depart straight out of 2-6. Short taxi out. We're going to be 2-6 out of here, and on our flight plan, we are using the Keens 2 departure off 2-6. So we'll come down here, Keens 2 departure, and we're going out to the harbor transition, insert that, And what I do like about doing the Toliss is you can do it properly. We always like, if you remember, always want to try to build in plan mode. So we're down here, we're going to build the flight plan in plan mode so you can see what's going on, even if it's not fully aligned yet. Out to Trox, and I believe we're on the Silicon 6 arrival into San Jose. So we're going to go arrival. We'll plan on landing 30 left on the Silicon 6 arrival, and I don't believe, yeah, we are coming from Trox transition with no approach via. We'll go ahead and insert that. 577 miles, hour 29 minutes en route. That looks really good. I like how Phoenix is doing that. Phoenix is doing that, excuse me. I like how Toliss is doing that. Everything's loaded up here. We got an hour 30, that's correct. 577, 8.1 fuel on board. Thank you, GNR. You got the METAR for me there. 180 at 410 miles, fuse 731332990. You're the man. You're the man, GNR. Appreciate you. All right, we're going to put Phoenix 26 in the box here. Perf data. We're going to leave that. We're going to go init B. Ooh, init. Let's go ahead and hit the align. Init B. We are pulled it from SimBrief. Look at that, 19.9, 28.5. So I have it synced to SimBrief, and it looked like it pulled the proper numbers. That's excellent. Put you back into ARC mode. And now, let's mess around a little bit here. It's unusual for a 2.6 departure, really? I've probably departed 2.6 maybe 30, 50 times. I don't think it's very unusual. It's just if you're on the north side and they're launching westbound. So plus it's a stream, so I don't want to taxi for 45 minutes. Let's see here. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, we're going to look at the IACP. So let's go mechanic push button. We have external, that's good, that's good. Let's go to the next page. Distance, this is in meters. I'm going to knock this back to about 50 meters. We'll just go straight back. 50 meters should be enough. We'll get that ready. All right, ground fuel requested 15.7. What do we have on board? We have 15.7, so that is good. And let's just verify that's what we needed in our SimBrief flight plan. I feel like we needed 15.7 on the last flight. We need 15.8, so I guess we're close enough. That's close enough for me. We're good on fuel. Cargo. Load. Okay, and we're not going to need any de-icing. De-icing effective for 30 minutes. Wow, that's cool. So we don't need any de-icing today. That's good. So that'll handle the ground comm from the mechanic push button. What about the cabin crew? So that's open. We have 116 passengers on board. And if I look here just to verify, we have 116 passengers on board. Everything is loaded up. Beautiful. I don't want to unload them, right? That's the number on board, I believe. So that looks good. So we're pretty much all loaded up. I like to see that. Let's go here. Perf speeds. Now I think it's going to start calculating this for you in due time. I think Phoenix is, or I keep saying Phoenix, sorry. I think Toliss is eventually going to have this where you can pull perf data. So de-icing in Phoenix, that'll be the day. Steven, yeah, you won't be de-icing. They probably don't even have any trucks. You'll be sitting there for, wait for the sun to come up. That happened to me in, where was I? Jacksonville, Florida one time. I was in Jacksonville, Florida, and there was a big frost that came in. They have no de-ice trucks in Jacksonville, apparently. So we literally had to push. I was flying the Embraers. We took the Embraer. We pushed off the gate. We went and parked it in the sun, and we waited for the sun to defrost the wings. And then we went back to the gate and boarded up and took off. Yeah, A350 Sim Pilot. Yeah, so that's a new feature. So you have, again, you have the cabin call. We'll bring up your anything for cabin crew, passengers, and cabin doors. Mechanic is for ground services, and I think that's the only one, right? Yeah, everything else looks good. So those are the two features now instead of using the ISCS, which is nice. Now I have, if you wanted to load those manually, you totally could, and this is something I should point out too, because I might actually change this. Let's talk about this setting real quick here. The ignore aircraft and air rack type mismatch. I have that on because sometimes my air rack doesn't necessarily match what I have in the airplane, and I still want SimBrief to pull the flight plan for me as best as it can. Sergey, thank you for the €2 donation, man. Appreciate you. It says uplink to take. Oh, Sergey, right here. Oh, okay. I'm going to try that. I didn't even notice that before. You're the man, Sergey. Appreciate you. We were going to try that here next. Appreciate you thank you for the donation, man. Glad you're enjoying the content. So I tend to have this on because if you don't have the right air rack, you know, you can still be okay. But if you're on VATSIM, you probably want to make sure everything's up to date. But just for me, that's fine. The one thing where it can get you in trouble, if you have an aircraft type mismatch, let's say you have a SimBrief flight plan for the wrong airframe, then you could have your weights all screwed up. So just got to be careful with that one. But the other one here, set payload and fuel to SimBrief, I have that on. If you don't have that on, then you would have to manually import your numbers like you would the old school way, and you could use it through the attitude here on the IACP, the Interactive Audio Control Panel. I like that. It seems like an official Airbus name, doesn't it? Because it's the ACP, but Toliss has deemed it the IACP. Okay, anyway, so perf, if I do flaps 1, Toga thrust, 34, 34, 38, packs off. If I do uplink takeoff data, oh my goodness, look at this. Off 26, correct. Request takeoff data? Well, maybe I want to do a flaps 1. No flex. Takeoff data request. I've never seen this before. Let's just see what happens. Receive takeoff data. Oh my. I don't want to flex. Flaps up. Takeoff data uplink. Insert uplink. And it brings you to the oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen. I need to applaud Toliss on this one because this is the first time that I've ever seen perf takeoff data uplink, number 1, correctly simulated, and I say correctly because it goes with number 2, the way that most airlines and most carriers do it here in the U.S. Now, there are multiple different ways to get takeoff data. Some airlines, SOP, you just put it in manually. Some SOPs, you might have other charts that you do. I'm not speaking for every airline across the world, but from what I do personally. So wherever they found this process of uplinking and how it brought you to the page and brought you back, this is one for one exactly how it is done where I work and how most airlines here in the United States get their perf data. That was fantastic. I just want to do it again now. That was incredible. So hats off to Toliss to see that. Absolutely love that. We'll have to talk more about that on a different stream. We're going to have to do another stream in this airplane because that alone is awesome. That just adds so much immersion. If I would have known that, I probably would have done this right before pushback or after pushback to simulate kind of the time and everything. But there we go. Verify speeds, 34, 34, 38, 18 transition, 26, 20 is engine out, 2100, flaps 1, no flex off of 2.6. My goodness me. We're going to do a packs off takeoff too because what the hell. So that is good. We're pretty much loaded up. Let's fire up the APU. We do have our fuel on board. We'll get our fuel tank pumps on right here. And let's just make sure it is balanced. It is balanced, 6.4. So we'll go ahead and get the seatbelt sign on. Ding. And fire up the APU. Let's take a listen outside. How would you tune thrust reduction engine out in an abnormal situation, or is it possible you can show us in a future stream? Robert S., that's a great question. I'll have to bring it up in a future stream, but real quick, the basics of that. Normally, the way it's done here, at least where I work, how my operator does it, the thrust reduction acceleration engine out is always in the database. It's part of the database cycle, so it should bring the proper numbers. Now, during your takeoff briefing, we verify that. I always say, hey, in case of an engine out, we're going to speed up, clean up, and I hit the perf page, and I look at engine out acceleration. I make sure it matches what I'm expecting. The only time that you're really going to change those numbers is in a non-standard, whether it's a non-standard noise abatement departure or maybe a aircraft type specific noise abatement departure procedure where you're going to change thrust reduction acceleration and or engine out acceleration altitude. But for most of the flights that you do in normal situations, those numbers are correct. Now, in Orlando, recently, they've added some new departure procedures that require our Airbuses, where I work, to have a higher acceleration altitude. And as a matter of fact, I might be able to bring that up here. I've got my iPad. But so that was another one where even it's not a noise abatement, it's just for performance. We have to change the acceleration altitude in Orlando when you're doing a northbound departure on some of the new RNAV departures that they've just released. But most of the time, it's the same in the database and just pulls it out. All right. It can even do optimum flap if you leave the flap sequence blank. Really, Hudson? I did not know that. That's awesome, man. Technically, you should be departing 25 right via the east route, but I'll let it slide. Tony Johns. But we're not on the east side. We're on the west side, and I don't want to taxi all the way over there. I don't want to go over to south. I mean, it would be fun to kind of go all under the bridge. Let's just go off 2.6. What the hell? We're not going to mess with it. Let's just get out of here. We got constraint mode on. 29090 is set. No ATC. Let's set our top altitude of... I'll bring this over here. What do we have for our top altitude today? 380. So 380 is set. APU is on. And let's go ahead and go interactive ACP. Let's go ahead and go to the... Nope. Let's go to the ground crew. Let's go ahead and pull chocks. Let's go ahead and close the cargo doors. I can hear the hydraulics. And there you go. Yellow PSI. Yes, 3000 because they're using the electric pump. And the PTU is still inhibited. But that's because the doors are closing. Another proper simulation there. You can see that door with fairing just closed. There's the APU valve that's open. Beautiful. All right, so that is closed. Good to see that. And again, we don't need de-ice. So we're done with this one here. Let's go ahead and get rid of the hydraulics. Let's go to the cabin crew, which is here. Let's go ahead and arm doors and cross-check. I'm going to wait for them to close. Now we'll do arm doors and cross-check. Look at that. Slides are arming up. Beautiful. That is... So this is why I like... This is another real-world scenario tip at you here. So the Q4, before pushback or getting ready to turn the beacon on, one of the last things I check, and it's on the checklist, is doors, windows, doors, and slides. The call is closed and armed. If they're not armed, I'm not going to turn the beacon on. But in some airplanes, you have to turn the beacon on to get them to arm, which is kind of like, eh. But that is correct. So I love having that little additional feature there to close and arm, because now I can come up here and like, all right, beacon's coming on, disconnecting from ground power, APU bleed is on. He's probably giving me the signal outside of say, yeah, you're good to disconnect. So mechanic push button, he'll go ahead and pull the ground power from now. And now we're basically ready for pushback and we're giving him a call. So awesome to see that. I love that little stuff. Love that little stuff. All right, short and stubby, but it gets the job done and very well with the 319. I know, I love the 319, man. It's just a fun airplane. Now, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I've got a real engine start that I uploaded. Let me pull it up. Unfortunately, it was engine 2. So I'm going to do this here in a second. Let me go to YouTube. So I recorded an engine start. And here. What's the destination? I might try to follow in the CL650. We're going to San Jose. San Jose, my friend. Let's go ahead and get tiller cam primed up, ready to go. Oh, we're going to have to do it from... Okay, so here's my engine start video. Pull this up. All right, so that's ready to go. That's ready to go. All right. Let's go ahead and do this. Windows, door, and slides, close and arm. Beacon on, thrust levers, idle, parking brake is off. 4-star checklist is complete. Cockpit to ground. Ground to cockpit. Walk around complete. Doors and hatches are closed. Ready for your call. All right, cockpit to ground. Copy that. Brakes released. Clear to push straight back 50 meters. Copy, Captain. Commencing pushback. SJC, correct. All right. Real life for you, Captain. When given clearance to descend via star by ATC, do you advise them when you vacate cruising altitude or just start descending? It's both, man. I tend not to let them know because they see you on radar. If you're in a non-radar environment, you're supposed to tell them. Some guys tell them anyway, but I've seen it happen both ways in real life, Iron Man. Seen it both ways. Sergey, thank you again for the €5 donation, man. That's, if you're going to fall in the CL650, let me know. I've got my VATSIM on. We are an ex-pilot as well. So, but thank you again for the €5 donation, Sergey. Appreciate you, man. Push complete, set parking brake. Brakes are set. Clear to disconnect. Show me the pin out front, and we're going to go ahead and start engine 1. Copy that, Captain. Clear to start. Have a safe flight. So, all right, engine mode, switch to ignition start. We do have bleed pressure. Let's go ahead and turn engine 1, enjoy the startup, default sounds, and see how they did. No, I'm not Flipper Crow. I'm not using that today. Oh my gosh. Nobody could hear me that whole time. I was, oh my gosh. Wow. Sorry, guys. I don't even know what I was talking about. I was talking for like 5 minutes. Basically, I'm showing how the engine was hanging there. And you can see this is properly hanging, about 27%. Fuel flows are a bit off. I think ours were burning about 900 pounds per hour, 950 pounds per hour at idle. But the EPRs are about this, almost the same. This is 1.04. We had 1.05. Fuel flow is coming alive. Now you're going to watch the EGT come up. Look at the N1 lagging behind. That's normal. Let's see how slow the IE spool up. See, there's no movement up here on the EPR needles. Barely any movement at all. That's correct. There's the click over. Got an avail light. Now in R319, depending on the software, you won't get an avail. So we didn't have avails on ours, but we got an avail on this one. 750 pounds per hour. That video I was showing you at idle power, it was about 950. So, and it's also 1.005. So I wonder if and that might have to do with environmentals too. It's not, we're not doing the same. If I can just move my thrust levers 1.05, let's see. That's a little bit far, come back. It's just like a fraction of an inch. So that's pretty darn realistic. So actually what was happening, I mean, that is pretty dang close. I'm going to set this back to 1.005. If I can do it. Come on. All right, 1.05, and we're burning 880. And again, this would also be environmentally, this would be an environmental thing. So this one is idling 1.005, 920, or 870. 430, 464. So these engines are running a little bit hotter. Again, could be an environmental thing, could be a wear and tear thing. And I'll be curious the next time I fly a 319, if a different tail number, I'm going to see what we got. This was also a hotter day. It was 30 C outside. You can see status page there. That's normal. 60% on the idle speed. 59.7. That's pretty dang good. You think oil temp is way off, Ogatoich? That could be because these were hot already. Well, let me see. Oil PSI 85C. What are they right now? If I pull up the engine page, 22. Oh, you know what? Interesting. I wonder if that's, surely that's in, yeah, it says C, 60. So the temps are a little bit lower here. But we'll have to check. This was a quick turnaround, so I'm going to check, Ogatoich, we're going to check when, after we do some, we'll check what the temps are maybe when we land. But, yep. Oh, I could change the wear of the engine on the Toliss, you're right. I already bumped it up a little bit. Okay, so that's that for now, but I just wanted to show you the startup sequence of the Toliss is actually pretty darn good. It is pretty darn good. All right, so let's go back to normal here. Let's go ahead and arm the speed brakes. We're going to go to flaps 1. We'll watch it deploy from here. Oh, I got to text my wife back. All right, so that is good. And max, auto brakes, max. Well, we'll do that later, but you know what? It's a short taxi out, so let's just do all of our checks here, right? So that's good, that's good. APU, that can come off. And let's do a flight control check here on the ground. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. I think we were trim, so 0.1 down or 0.1 up? Let's take a look. 0.1 up, not going to make much of a difference. There we go, 0.1 up is set. Everything looks good. We'll go auto brakes max, takeoff config checked, and we'll go on auto because it's a real short taxi out. TARA, that is on, and we'll just give McCallum a call. Let's do this. It's the system slider chaos. Okay, I'm trying to adjust, while I have the 319 fresh in my head from flying, I'm trying to tweak these to be about as realistic as I could remember. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Brakes released. Taxi light on. Oh boy. Let's do a cinematic drive-by to 2.6. Here we go. God, I love the looks of those IAEs, don't you? Do you set your does your trim wheel auto move? No, not in the narrow body 350 sim pilot. But your trim, your engines must be on. Your engines must be on to set the trim for hydraulics. But it does not auto trim like it does in the 340. And I think there's a 330 auto trim as well. If I move my speed brake lever, do they move on the ground? Yeah. Yeah, 330 auto trims. For X-Plane streams, you need to bring back the flyby emoji. I know, Christy. Totally forgot. All right, everything else looks good there. We've already done all of our checks. We're going up to 380. Let's get out here to 26, see if we can stay on a center line. What would you do if there's a PWS warning? What do you mean? Oh, predictive wind shear warning on takeoff roll? So predictive wind shear is inhibited after 100 knots, I believe, on the takeoff roll. But if you get a wind shear prior to V1, you're going to reject. If you get a wind shear after V1, you're going, baby. Sin City, what's going on, man? He says, I hope all is well. Catching a bit of the stream on break from work. Awesome, dude. Well, you're about to enjoy the takeoff here, so hope you get to catch that. Hope they're not working you too hard, man. We'll go full length. Actually, you know what? We're not going to go full length at 2.6. We're going to go right here because of the displaced threshold. So let's go ahead and look outside. Clear left, clear right. Let's go ahead and light it up. All right, everything else is on, ready to go. I'm flying a 319. That was a little aggressive. Gotta have track IR on for lineups, man. That was terrible. Let's get her nice and straight because we gotta enjoy the takeoff sounds here. That would have given everybody whiplash on that. Alright, here we go. We're gonna smash the like button for this Toga takeoff. Are you guys ready? Dun, 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 dun. Engines are green, everything is good. Alright, we're gonna spool them up 50. We've got 343 views and only 99 likes. Do you guys not love me? Are you not entertained? Let's go, smash that like button. Let's get at least 150 likes. Let's get 150 likes. We're going full yoga, 150 likes. I'm gonna spin it up 50%. We're gonna burn some gas. Oh, here we go. Nose forward on the stick. Yoga's in chat. Kill it. Man, Toga, SRS runway auto thrust is blue. Now, when we do a flyby, watch your ears if you're a headphone user. It's going to be loud. Thrust set, 100 knots. Acceleration looks good. EGTs are nice and hot. It's 30C, 29C. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Yeah, it was a little sloppy on the rotation. Nav. Flyby. Oh. Rotation felt a little bit heavy there. Maybe I didn't have my trim set quite right. Let's do another flyby on Toga. Ah! Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, let's go. There's acceleration altitude. Go ahead and lower that nose a little bit. There's our positive trend. Thrust, climb, climb. Auto thrust. Enjoy some default X-Plane 12 scenery. Thank you guys for smashing that like button. You guys are awesome. Rip ears for sure. So the sound pack for the 319 for BSS anyway, I believe is compatible. But for this stream, I just wanted to do everything default because I wanted to make sure it's just want to give it a nice test, give it a nice run through. That way, if you're looking at this airplane maybe in the future, you kind of see what you're going to get out of the box. Here comes S speed. We'll go ahead and go flaps 0 after takeoff. I don't really like my wing views. I like that one better. Flap 0 after takeoff checklist. We got a little pitch down, pitch up moment. There we go. Very nice. Should have had terrain on. Mountainous terrain, for sure. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? All right. I have control. ECAM actions. Engine 2 fail. Are you kidding me right now? All right, let's go ahead and get rid of the tiller cam so you can watch what's going on. Push the level off. Fly the airplane first. Speed, vertical speed 0. Are you kidding me? Lever MCT. We don't need that. Well, we'll go here. All right. That's Phoenix departure. Cactus 357 declaring an emergency. Going to need a return back to Sky Harbor. Cactus 357, oh, roger. Turn right. Fly heading 350. You know what? You know why we have an engine failure? I did not program my secondary flight plan. I did not program my secondary flight plan. How many times have I programmed a secondary flight plan on this channel and not had to use it? And now I forgot to do the secondary, and we've got an engine fail. Okay, we're level we're level here at 5600. Let's run the ECAM. Engine 2 fail. Engine start selector, ignition. Thrust lever 2 idle. Confirm thrust lever 2, confirm. Idle. Why did one roll back? Stand by. That's coming back up. It was just bad timing there. All right. If no relight after 30 seconds, engine 2 master off. It doesn't look damaged. It honestly doesn't look damaged. We got 8% as windmilling. Well, I got no engine 2. All right, so no relight. Engine 2 master off. Confirm engine 2 master. Confirm. Off. Engine 2 fail. All right, if damage does not apply. So we're not going to push the fire push button. If no damage, engine 2 relight consider. All right, let's actually consider an engine relight. Let's just see. Let's play this out. I don't know what's going on here. We're going to go autopilot 1. Let's fly the airplane first. Was not anticipating this at all here. All right, 5,500 feet is fine. We're going to fly this heading. Speed, vertical speed 0, and speed out heading. Okay, we're speed out heading, red, green dot, engine 2 relight. I've got to pull out my checklist. Hold on. I just want to see if we can relight this because we don't have any signs of damage. So signs of damage would be amber X's. I still got all my fluids in the engine. It looks half decent. Let me pull out my comm. Oh, please enter your PIN number to log in. This is why you do this in real life before you take off. All right. Watch the app crash now. All right, comm 2. Emergency situations, abnormal. Engine relight. In flight. Applicable to tail number. That's not it. Those are for Neos. Where is my relight for 319s? Engine relight in flight. There we go. There's our 319 tail numbers. Max altitude, see below. Engine master, affected engine, off. It is off. Now we can go ahead and pull the cam back up for you. That way you kind of see what's going on. So you just want to see the ECAM. Let me pull the ECAM up. Put it up here. Okay, engine master, affected engine, it is off. Confirm. Thrust lever, effective engine, check idle. Check idle. Engine mode selector, ignition. Ignition. Cross bleed, open. So up to the overhead, open. If outside the windmilling start envelope, the FADEC will open the starter valve. Looking at the envelope. So we are at 55. Windmill starter assisted relight, N2 less than 18%. It is. Windmill quick relight, if N2 is greater, it is not. Okay. So continuing. Wing anti-ice for starter assist, off. It is off. Engine parameters, N2 EGT monitor. Well, I'm monitoring them. Everything looks normal. Automatic start. Abort not available. Be aware of that. Okay, N2 parameter monitor. When idle is reached, normal TCAS next. All right, so let's go ahead and move. N2 is on the rise. I'm now manually covering the start switch here because you do not have an automatic abort protection. So if we were to get a hot start here, I have to manually abort the start. So I'm holding it, and we're covering the starter. We got it back. Are you kidding me? Avail. Auto flight, auto thrust limited. Thrust lever is coming back to climb. Bringing up number 2. Lever asymmetry, that's normal. We're speed, out, heading, auto thrust, engaged. Engine parameters, check normal. Engine mode selector, normal. TCAS mode select, back to TARA, it is. Check that the selector is TARA since engine shutdown has been applied, which does not apply. Crossbleed, back to auto. Check. Affected systems, restore. Take a look at our systems page here. Status is clear. Looking good. Engine relight checklist complete. Well, we successfully relit engine 2. Now, we probably should have, I mean, that was kind of a rough how it would go single pilot. Obviously, 2 pilot, 2 crew would be a lot different. But hey, I swear, Toliss has given me some special serial numbers. I swear. That I didn't even have a secondary flight plan. Now in real life, you'd probably do a precautionary return. You'd probably definitely do a precautionary return. Let's go up to 380. Pull for open. Thrust climb, open climb, nav. We're out of here. Wow. That was sick. I'm not gonna lie. Someone get Toliss on the phone. Someone get Torsten in the chat. Be like, dude, what kind of serial numbers you giving me? That was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Going back there, engine in before. So, real life considerations. Iron Man, I saw you mention the APU. That's a good one. I wanted to just get right back into the relight because I noticed that was off. Now, in real life, Iron Man, you're absolutely correct. You're climbing out. You get an engine rollback. The rolls are essentially going to split. We got an ECAM. So in that particular case, if I'm a pilot flying, probably would switch roles because I'm the more experienced pilot, typically the captain, typically is going to run the ECAM and do a comprehensive ECAM. And then the other guy will fly the airplane. So, but if when the roles would split, then yes, I'd be focused on flying. I get the APU fired up just in case we have it. That one was a kind of a strange failure because it was not, there was no loud bang, there was no damage, there was no shuddering. So I was kind of thinking, what, we just had a flame out? Why do we have a flame out there? What happened? Everything looked normal, we were able to relight it. But you're absolutely correct. There is nothing wrong with getting the APU started, and in fact, I would highly recommend starting the APU as soon as you get down to a single generator. That should kind of be the first thing. It's like, boom, get the generator up. But I kind of got sidetracked there. I went right into pulling out my ECAM, and I was kind of shocked, and I can't believe that I didn't have a secondary loaded up. But that would be that's kind of how that would go. Now, again, in real life, you'd probably do a precautionary. Actually, I would 100% do a precautionary. Is that on? I can't tell. Yeah, it's on. I would 100% do a precautionary return. I mean, you just had an engine flame out on you. Like, why go take it up over the mountains when you just had an engine flame out? So, definitely do a precautionary air return, come back, and everything would be hopefully normal. But there we go. We're out of 10,000 feet. We're clearing out. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, why are the outside? See, I have external volume all the way down, but it doesn't seem to... Oh, maybe that's for inside? Let me try this. Still extremely loud. I'm not sure what we can do about that, but all right, everything is good. Let's get out of here. Beta tester, exactly. You need to try this in the Phoenix. Yeah, so that's an inch. I've never got a Toliss engine failure recoverable. Look at that. Look at that. Engine 2 fail recoverable. So I'm kind of happy with myself that we didn't shut it down. We actually went into the engine relight consider. Now, where I think I might have messed up there, and that's just me being single pilot, in the ECAM was correctly populated there. It said engine 2 relight consider, and then you had the engine 2 shutdown ECAM. I'm 99% positive I should have went right to the... No, maybe not. I don't think you would do the shutdown. I don't think you would do the shutdown first. You would do the relight. Now, this is just, I'm thinking out loud now, because normally in the sim, when we do engine failures and even relights, it all happens at low altitude in the sim, because that's typically the worst case, right? Low altitude, high terrain. So when would you do a relight at low level? If you just took off and you lost an engine, you're not going to do the relight right there. You have to fly your V1 cut profile, you got to clear terrain, but we're flying around at 5,000 feet. So it was a much different situation for me mentally that I don't think I've ever really put myself through. It was kind of fun to see that. Because down, if you had a V1 failure, an engine failure at V1, but it was recoverable, you're not going to start doing the relight until you speed up, clean up, get the airplane safe and out of terrain. But when you're already up at 6,000 feet or whatever we were, you don't have to go through a shutdown checklist. You can just go right into the relight, because you're not worried about a climb out profile. You're not worried about terrain at that point. So kind of neat to see that. Go back to your sound settings. Just have to check override. Ailerons in the wind. That's what I did, man. I had that on already. I had to override that, and I saved it. And then if I go external down and I save it and I close it, it's still loud AF out here. See? It's still loud AF out there. I don't know if that's a bug, or if maybe I'm misunderstanding. Maybe I'm misunderstanding that. Because that's the master volume, right? So, all right. I'll keep my master volume there. I mean, I guess these just, maybe they're not functioning as intended, or like I said, I could be misunderstanding that setting there. But I'm kind of liking what I've got here, kind of set up. That sounds pretty good. I'm going to just save that. Oh, GNR. V1, don't override. Don't override? Okay, not going to override. Not overriding. Someone says override, someone doesn't say override. But if XP says don't override, I'm going to listen to XP. XP, good to see you in the chat, man. Hope you're doing well. We go ahead and set standard STDs for you, me, and the jump seater. 1, 2, and 3 are set. GNR, hydraulics. Good question. They are up in the green still right now. We'll check up at cruise. We'll check up at cruise altitude. So I'd like to see that drop down once we get up a little bit higher here. We'll see. In my airline, we consider the relight before reading and performing the status page. Matu, correct. I think that, yeah, that's what we do. We actually do it at the status page. We go status and then relight. So, but that's, so then you'd go through the engine 2 shutdown checklist. You'd go through the engine 2 shutdown prior to doing the relight then. Right? Is that how you do that? Because we had the engine 2 shutdown ECAM up. I forgot to file a flight plan? No, I got a flight plan on file. Oh, B2. Oh, XP. I don't have B2 installed right now. I don't have the B2 sound plugin installed. That's why I don't have B2 installed. All right, we're 23.4. We're climbing out. Oh, man, look at that beautiful terrain. Hey, that wing doesn't look half bad. I got to be on. I mean, that wing looks pretty good. For the platform that this airplane is in, I'm happy with that. Nice gloss reflection. How about those ground textures, though? That is 10 for 10 amazing. Just smash the like button for those ground textures. I'd hope in real life if we had an engine failure return. Yeah, absolutely, VT Jake. Absolutely. What's interesting is a couple of years ago anyway. A couple of years ago, I got called out. I was on reserve. And I got called out to go pick up an airplane in San Diego. And the reason the airplane was in San Diego I didn't know until it was halfway there. But basically, I deadheaded out, so I flew other airline, got out there to San Diego, and I show up to the airplane, and there's about 6 mechanics. There's like a lead Airbus, or like not a lead. There's an Airbus technician, like straight out of like Toulouse, France. There's an Airbus technician there, and I'm kind of confused. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, hey, so you're flying this back to Dallas, right? I'm like, yeah, what's going on? It's like, all right, well, last night it had an engine rollback, and then they also had, and then the boot. So we replaced the engine, but the other engine also had a rollback like 3 days prior. So basically, what he was saying is that there's a possibility for dual engine failure. They thought they had them fixed or whatnot, but I had to ferry an airplane from San Diego with a bunch of mechanics on board, with a guy from Airbus. I think there was also somebody there for IAE as well, because whatever happened, it was kind of like a weird fault, and we ferried that airplane with just mechanics and a couple of other personnel that had an engine failure, and it also had the other engine had an engine, so it had an engine failure. They swapped that engine out, then it had a rollback on the other engine. So basically taking an airplane that has no good engines on it and climbing out of San Diego, IMC, hard IMC, we're climbing out, ding, master caution goes off. We had a FADEC, a FADEC fault. So we had an actual FADEC fail. So we had to go to N1 mode up here on the overhead panel. We had an unrated N1. So there's a couple different ways that your engines can, or your FADECs can fail. And I'm actually going to go back to this because I like turning this down master volume this way. Oh, no. There we go. Like that. Oh, no. Like that. But, yeah, so then we had to worry about overboosting and underboosting because it wasn't protected. So we basically flew an IAE with N1s up here when you go to N1 mode. And actually, we can simulate that. So we'll come up here, and I'll show you real quick. Let's go to N1 mode. So now, basically, you fly the airplane on N1 mode. Now we're auto thrust. This is correct. Auto flight, auto thrust off. That's ECAM we got. Thrust levers move. We're in thrust lock. So now we've lost auto thrust. Copy. Move the thrust levers. I'm going to put it back into the climb detent. And now you would just fly with N1s. So 85% N1. You could look up your tables and stuff for power settings. But that's very cool to see that. This is some high level stuff going on here. I like it. We'll go ahead and close the guard. We'll go back. We should get our auto thrust back. So I'm going to clear you, and let's rearm the auto thrust. Thrust climb, open climb, and auto thrust is on. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Love to see that. 30 for 38. Benny says hydraulic is really tricky in the Airbus. When you over service it, drain down to the pneumatic line, and it's a big mess. Benny, really? Speaking from experience, I see. Am I getting back on the Blue Experience podcast soon? I was just there. I thought, man, we were there, a couple weeks ago? Love those guys. I actually was listening to them on their last podcast I listened to. I don't know if you're still hearing that, XP, but the one about the flight model and stuff. I'm making a video about XPlane 12 and Microsoft and the flight model. Because I've surprised myself a little bit. I think a lot of the, XPlane 12 has superior flight model, no questions asked mentality is kind of like you guys were saying. It's partially my fault. Like flight deck to sim, all the guys who fly, real pilots, right? We all fly. We all say X-Plane had a superior flight model, and it has for a while. But there's a couple things that I've noticed in Microsoft when I look at the new flight model Cessna, the CFD modeled Cessna, that have actually surprised me, and I compare them head to head. And I'm gonna be publishing that video in response to the last Blue Experience podcast I listened to. And yeah, 350 Simpod is a correct, Silent Hunter 3.1. No auto throttle with derated mode. You're absolutely right. So that's a correct simulation there of the FADEC as well. This is why, these first, I don't know how long we've been streaming it, an hour now in the stream, but all these little things you see with the ECAM, the random fault as well, all that stuff, this is why I come back to X-Plane when I do my check ride preparation. It doesn't look as pretty, obviously, doesn't sound as good, and it doesn't appeal to the masses as much, I think, as a Microsoft stream. But when I'm hardcore nitty gritty and I want to get prepped up for a simulator flight, I know the Toliss has got my back. So that's why I like coming back into the X-Plane 12 platform for that. You had an in-op pack and a Max 8 yesterday, cruise at 25,000. Oof. We can take single pack up higher than that in the Airbus just because it's a little bit more superior. Even though it wasn't planned, the engine flame out was fun. Iron Man, thanks. Yeah, man, that's hey, that's why I like these random faults. You know, we got the random faults on, and I have them bumped up to 100. So I have mine on a pretty high setting, basically 100 to 1. What's that noise? No, I was wondering what that noise was. I guess somebody's weed eating outside. Hadn't heard that before. All right, let's take a look, see where we are. We're climbing 34, 38. Everything else looks good. Fuel's balanced. Everything looks good. Ooh, we got a little bit of an imbalance we're going to work through. Let's work through a fuel imbalance here when we get to cruise altitude. We got to take care of that. About 4,000 feet to go. We no longer need terrain mode. God, I love that scenery. It looks good, huh? There was a video of a CFI that tested the flight model of 172 in Microsoft for the real thing, and you can see it's pretty close except on the ground. Yep. Javier, that's one thing that X-Plane has always, well, I say always, but I could say that Microsoft has always not got 100% right, or I could say X-Plane has pretty much got right, depending on the developer, but the ground handling in X-Plane has always been pretty good. Now, there's some, I don't want to say always, because the crosswinds in X-Plane 11 were pretty detrimental. I mean, you get a 10-knot crosswind in X-Plane 11, it was like flying in a 25-knot crosswind. But as far as taxiing the airplanes on the ground, breakaway thrust, for those that don't know, it's when you're static. So let's say you start up both engines and you're static, you have the parking brake on, and then now you get to taxi away. Depending on the weight of the aircraft, the surface that you're on, whether it's concrete or asphalt is really, really bad in this situation, and the outside air temperature. So one time I actually got stuck in Philly. Asphalt, it's like 102 degrees outside, and we were high gross weight, and I could not move the airplane with one engine. I had to get two engines started to roll, because we kind of sat. The airplane will sit, and it can kind of not really suck in, but it kind of sticks to that asphalt, and you need excess thrust to break away from that friction so you can start rolling again. Once you break away, you can bring the thrust back. Now on the ground, we have a 40% N1 limitation for breakaway thrust. So I couldn't go above 40% with one engine. It was not enough to move the airplane. So I had to fire up the second one and get it going. But breakaway thrust in X-Plane has been pretty good. I know the FlyJ Sim stuff has a phenomenal, it just feels phenomenal. The breakaway thrust in the 737-200 in X-Plane 11 was awesome. It was one of my favorites. I think that's kind of missed by a lot of devs. Now, of course, it's also going to depend on gross weight. You know, you get in a light 319, 320, even any light Airbus, and you have both engines running at idle thrust, it's going to run away from you. KF321 in the chat. What's going on, man? Welcome. Max Sim says, green hydraulic is full in flight. Let's take a look at it. So we're leveling at 37. Yeah, it should definitely be a little bit lower. Yeah, so we've got... That's something we could note. You know, the green hydraulic should leak down a little bit with altitude. So, yeah, you would see these would be a little bit different. This hydraulic would be a little bit lower there for sure. Absolutely. All right, we're level here at 37, or we're almost level, 37 for 38. We'll go ahead and get the seatbelt sign off. We'll do a flyby, then we'll look at the external model. Oh, the sun is back. The early dawn sun is back. I think we're getting close to some Orbix. Yeah, so here's the Orbix line. We're approaching the Orbix line. Thank goodness, because it was driving me nuts. If I go sound settings, sound, exterior. Hey, look at that. That's a thing of beauty, right? We'll turn that down. We'll turn that down. We'll come over here. Now, I was going to do some maneuvers and stuff. I guess we'll have to do it on the descent and approach to landing. I feel like we need to do it over closer to an airport after what we just went through. Nope. Carter, what's up, man? What do you think the main difference on 319 X-Plane 11 and X-Plane 12? Right now, Carter, the systems. Like having those recoverable faults, those were not included in X-Plane 11. Circuit breaker simulation. Ooh, let's go ahead and look at the official changelog as well for the 319. And Carta, they have the CFM 56 B7, which has a little bit more thrust. It's what Avianca uses as well. It's what Avianca uses in the Andes Mountains, I think. Or maybe it's on all of them, I don't know. But they have that more high power CFM. Let me go ahead and take a look at the official changelog, though. Pull that up here, because I want to see if there's anything that I'm missing. A319 change log. Custom engine model, thrust and fuel flow values, they look good. I'd like to see them a little bit higher up. I don't know if that was just because of maybe the one I was flying yesterday, but I still think about 1,000 pounds aside on the ground is a little bit closer. I think 750 is a tad low, just from what I remember, but it's not far off. I mean, we're talking 200 pounds. Gustavo, welcome back, my friend. Welcome back to Private Pilot. Glad to have you on board, man. Welcome. Contrails look better. Let's take a look at the contrails as we're flying away. Ooh, we got someone down there. Awesome. Reflection looks pretty good on the back of the nacelle there, too. Or back of the burner can. Where'd my changelog go? I lost it. There it is. Gustavo Rodriguez has gifted 10 memberships. Oh my goodness. Guys, if you have picked up a gifted sub from Mr. Gustavo, we're going to be turning this entire chat green. Wow. Make sure you thank him. That's an absolutely legend donation. Thank you, Gustavo. I appreciate it, man. I'll actually turn the alert box off for this here for a minute, so we don't have to listen to beeping. But Gustavo, I appreciate your support, man. Thank you so much, guys. Exclamation point, welcome if you're a new member now, and make sure you tell Gustavo thanks for the new membership. Also, check out my latest community tab post, flying a 319 yesterday. We did some holding, we did some weather avoidance. We'll talk about my failure, my ECAM that we had to work through as well. I'm not getting contrails. It's enabled. You're running. I'm running live weather. Ailerons into the wind. I'm running live weather, my friend. Single crew ops says good day to come back after 3 months. So residency was hectic. The single engine failure and boss management was a great welcome gift. Thank you, single crew ops. Thank you, man. Welcome back. Hope residency was a good time. It was hectic for sure. I can only imagine, man. But thank you for coming back and enjoying the stream. Welcome aboard. The night lighting in X-Plane cockpit is better. You know what, Gustavo? I haven't done any night flying in X-Plane 12 yet. I have not. I'll have to test it out. I have not tested for sure yet. I do think that the lighting at night does look better in general from X-Plane 12. Absolutely. All right, looking through. So here we go. New engine type, the CFM 56-5B7 for more takeoff thrust at high altitude airports. So that would have been helpful for us on the South America tour. Circuit breakers, accurate system response, over 100 available. That's the same from the 321. ACARS functionality, direct download from sim brief flight plans. We did that. You got to see it live. I like that as well. I think the highlight, honestly, Carter, now that I'm thinking about it, the highlight, the perf uplink performance. To retrieve takeoff data for various runways and optimum flap configurations, 10 for 10, absolutely fantastic. I love that, and the way the Toliss did it was perfect. And I'm sure there's going to be some guys out there that say, "Oh, it's not correct. That's not how my Airbus, my company does it." I'm like, "Well, pound sand, because that's how mine does it, and that's all that matters, right?" No, I'm just kidding. But there's 100, well, maybe not 100, but there's a bunch of different ways. I'm sure different operators get perf data, but the way Toliss has it simulated is spot on, and I'm absolutely happy to see that. I'm absolutely happy they did that. That's been a huge part of all of our pre-flight stuff that's never really simulated, that hasn't really been simulated correctly in quite some time. You could change back and forth time of day so we can look, not proposing. Oh yeah, you want to see it? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. I'm gonna go ahead and close this page here. Let me make sure I have some light. I got the floods on, so let's see if we were to wind it. So it's 1440. Let's go back to nighttime. So there's my floodlight. Let's go ahead and turn the floodlight off. That looks pretty good. Ooh, we could dim that flood. Let's turn this center pedestal flood off. There we go. I like being able to dim these lights. That's cool. See, in real life, I just put these at very low right there. That's how I do mine at night. Pretty good, pretty good. Does the... Oh, look at that. That's actually modeled too. So there's the annunciator panels have two functions. They have a low and a high. So if you see here, look at the lights and like the flight director, autopilot, auto thrust. See their brightness level? That's dim. Now when I go to bright, they get a little bit brighter for daytime. That's correctly simulated as well. Cool to see that. Oh, look, and the EFIS and FCU. Oh, this is neat. I haven't experienced this before. Yeah. Looks pretty dang good. And of course, I would turn down my screens, obviously, if we were flying at night. But yeah, Gustavo, I would say it's definitely improved. I mean, look at this overhead panel. That looks really good. I mean, that looks really good. I really like what they've done with this. Let's go ahead and bring it back to sunrise. Let's fast forward through the daytime, because no one likes to see the daytime. Let's bring it to close to sunset. Oh wait, we'll have a nice sunset landing. Let's a little bit early. Let's go right about there. Is BSS working on X-Plane 12? I heard it is, Benny. I have not tested it yet. I wanted to do this stream straight default. That way, everybody, if you were looking at the airplane on the stream, this is exactly what you're getting out of the box. There's no mods, no sound mods, but I did see that it said it was compatible with 12, but I have not tested it myself. But you can bet I'll be testing it probably the next stream. When would you use the engine quick relight procedure, cycling engine master off and on? Probably never. Unless you're briefed on it or trained on it. I don't really have a quick relight procedure. You know, I mean, situations are situational, but you never want to just go flipping switches randomly, even in a bad situation, because that's how you get yourself killed. Have you ever used sunshades in the cockpit? Javier, it's funny you mentioned that. I was going to take a picture yesterday. Flying into Miami, we're coming from the north. Actually, we left on the east coast, and we had to fly westbound a little bit, like a southwesterly flight plan, because we had to take the inland route because there was some weather, and we were just baking in the sun. So yeah, we had the sunshades up, man. Went full dark on that. Full dark. Let me just see here. So we already talked about the new ACP, or the IACP, the interactive ACP, audio control panel, for loading your cargo and your passengers. Again, if you have that link to SimBrief to auto pull it, though, you're going to lose it. So if you want to do it manually, make sure you untick that box. Database holds. Ooh, we're going to have to do a hold. We're going to have to do a hold today because we did a hold yesterday in real life. Addition of new failure modes for 210 different failures, including recoverable failures, which you guys got to see live. Oh, new key streams. I was talking about the airplane. Ortho is on the ground. You're looking at ortho down there, my friend. This is actually Orbix. Look at that's America. Oh my, screenshot. That actually looks good. That is that's Orbix SoCal, I believe. Orbix True Earth SoCal is where we still are. That looks amazing. This livery out here in the mountains. Somebody please make the white and baby blue America West livery. Somebody please make that baby blue. I thought I had one, but I haven't been able to find it. I need that baby blue and white America West livery. More than 70 new eCam messages, animated push buttons in the cockpit, movable seats and armrests, VLS increase with speed brake. We talked about that on the 321, same thing. ETP circle. Option to control internal and external volume levels in X-plane sliders or custom ISCS sliders. So when I do override, it doesn't seem to work for some reason. It doesn't seem to work when I do override, but maybe I'm misunderstanding that option. Maybe it has to do with the B2 volume control. I don't know. Mickey G coming in with 5 more gifted subs. Goodness, this whole chat is going to be green. I cannot thank you guys enough. Mickey G, thank you, my friend, for a 5 gifted sub. If you guys pick up a gifted sub from Mickey G, Make sure you say thank you. Make sure you check out the Discord V1 only section. Make sure you check the community tab. That's where I put all my members only content is on the community tab. You get access to shorts videos, members only podcasts, which we're going to do another one here, another short. We're going to just do a cockpit confessional podcast, maybe this weekend. Might do another one this weekend. You get access to all that good stuff. So make sure you thank Mr. Mickey G. Appreciate it. How helpful is a mechanical engineering degree? Very helpful, Kevin. I think any mechanically driven person and pilot is always, it's never going to hurt you. Never going to hurt you, Kevin Thomas. And the good part about that is that's a good degree to have as a backup option too, right? In case something falls through flying, you know, you never know. But maybe a medical situation or an airline situation, company situation, mechanical engineering is always a good backup to have to back yourself up for sure. You do not need, that's one of the biggest misconceptions I think about pilots, at least in the U.S. I'm only speaking for the U.S. because that's the market I know, but you do not need an aviation degree to become a commercial airline pilot. And matter of fact, I would recommend that you do not have an aviation degree, because if all you have is aviation, and if something falls through in your career, what are you going to fall back on? You know? So it's always good to have a backup plan, always good to have something to fall back on. Beacon misalignment, that is known. That's a known bug, whoever said that. So right here, I know you can't see my mouse, but the beacon is misaligned. That's already been reported and accounted for. I do like the light, though. It looks pretty cool. We just get that back over there. But that beacon misalignment is already checked out. Ooh, we do have to do a fuel imbalance check, Quasimodo. Thanks. We'll do that here in a second. Let me just make sure there's nothing. I'll rework the ECAMs. We did that. Added radio navigation for transponder failures. Fuel truck animations for slow refueling. I must have screwed that up. So I guess because I had it pool my fuel from SimBrief, we didn't need to refuel. Because I wanted to use a fuel truck. I wanted to use a fuel truck to pump up the airplane, but that's all right. Improved the nose geometry. Improved a couple other things. 3D Model 6, move on both sides. Opening direction of cockpit door. Nice. Drain mass orientation under belly fairing. Really? Oh, yeah. It's a point right direction. I mean, look at that. Nothing beats a freaking IAE engine on a 319. Come on, dudes. How juicy does that look? Gustavo, there you go. Backup plan is real. He moved to software development. There you go. So for all you young guys out there thinking about becoming an airline pilot, don't just take it from me. Mr. Gustavo's living it. He's lived it, you know. Got to have a backup plan. Got to have a backup plan. Would I fly this in Microsoft? Oh my gosh, I would love to fly the Toliss in Microsoft. I think that's a pipe dream. I don't think Toliss is ever planning to come to Microsoft, but that's just because I haven't heard anything about that. I wish they would, though. I really do, because, I mean, this airplane, you know, I think it's going to be underrepresented in the current platform that it's on, an XP12. But it's a hell of an airplane. They've got a lot of work into this airplane, that's for sure. You know, this is not just a pro sim license and they put an airplane around it. This is something that they've created from the ground up. It's had its growing pains, absolutely. I'll be the first to tell you, it's had its growing pains, it's had its bugs, it's had its issues. But the amount of TLC that's gone into this aircraft is pretty incredible, especially when you think about when it first came out. So we'll see. Mr. Martini, you're going to get slapped for that, my friend. Just awesome, huh? All right, let's go inside and do let's look at some fuel. Let's do a little fuel rebalance. So juicy. Okay, so we're still, and we'll probably do a diversion too, right? Because we don't need to fly all the way to San Jose. Maybe we'll go into, LA or something. I don't know, we'll see. All right, let's look at our fuel situation here, because with that engine out, we have a little imbalance brewing here. So an acceptable level is anything in the green, really. If this starts to get out of balance, it actually depends on the airframe, and it depends on the fuel tank configuration of the airframe. So there's a couple different limitations that you have, 1102, 3306, and 1102, 3306, 5, 6, 7. I can't remember. There's another one too. But basically, you're fine with an imbalance as long as you don't have an ECAM. But, you know, when you're bored doing a long haul and you see you're 400 pounds out of balance here, let's go ahead and correct that. Now, this imbalance comes specifically because of our engine failure that we had. So let's go ahead and work through an imbalance procedure, or a rebalancing procedure for the A319 with center tank pumps, not jet pumps. So first things first, whenever you're messing with fuel, let's go ahead and get the ignition on, right? In case we have another flame out. So engine mode to ignition start is on. We have ignition on as indicated by the ECAM. Now I'm going to pull up this and I'm going to come up to the overhead and we're going to look at it. Again, in the Airbus narrow body family of aircraft, there is no tank to tank transfer. What we're going to do is we're going to overfuel an engine and have that over excess fuel be returned to the on-side tank. So how we're going to do that? We need to take the low side tank and we need to pump extra gas into it from the overflow. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the crossfeed valve first. I'm going to make sure that turns green so we can have a good flow between engines. But now we need to pull more fuel from here. So how do we pull more fuel from this tank than this tank? We're going to turn off these fuel tank pumps. So we're going to go left tank pump 1, left tank pump 2 off. Those are the low side pumps. We're going to go ahead and turn those off. When you turn those off, you're going to get 2 dings and an ECAM just like this. It's absolutely perfect right out of the airplane. Fuel, left tank pump 1, 2, low pressure. When tank, oh great, now we got a reverser fault. That's unassociated. But, God. Clear engine 1. We'll come back to it. All right, back to our fuel. Left tank pump 1, 2, low pressure. Left tank gravity feed only. The plane is gravity feeding. I'll start the chrono here as well. Can I drop this down? No, I can't drop it down. Start the chrono so I don't forget. And what's happening is now we're going to pool all this fuel because there's no longer pumps pulling this. It's just gravity feeding. Naturally, you're going to bring more fuel out of here. Now, what are my EPers doing? Why are they... EPers are dancing pretty good here. They're oscillating. But, yeah, so now we're going to watch this fuel come over, and we're going to watch it build up, hopefully. Now let's go ahead and clear that, and let's look at this reverser 2. Reverser 1 in op. Why? Recall the engine 1 reverser fault. Okay, so let's pull up the column procedure for that. I might have to dial back these failures. I'm going to have to dial back these failures. All right, what do we have? Engine 1 reverser fault. Engine 1 reverser fault. That's engine 1. Crew awareness. Hold on. Engine 1 or 2 reverser fault. This alert triggers when the thrust lever on one engine has failed due to system components or inputs. If reverser position fault with reverser pressurized. Oh, jeez. Dropped my iPad. And now I lost where I was. Engine 1. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong tail numbers. We need a Neo. Reverser unlocked. In-op systems, reverser 1. Alright, so not much we can do about it. If reverser position fault with reverser pressurized, it is not. If it was, we'd have to land ASAP. Alright, so if you're in a Neo, go around soft as in-op as well, but let's just say... Oh, fuel. Yeah, let's take a look at our fuel. How we doing? Ah, look at that. We over-pressurized it just a tad, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and bring those back. Opposite, we'll close that, and then we'll go ahead and shut the ignition off. So now we're balanced up. We're looking good. Fuel is balanced. We've got an engine 2 reverser fault, and I'll tell you what, this is a good time. Since we're having all these failures, why don't we exercise the diversion? Mr. JR, what's going on, man? Welcome. Let's look up top here. Someone mentioned a circuit breaker. Nah, it would be a monitored breaker. It wouldn't be back here. Nope. It would be monitored, so... Alright. Let's look at a potential diversion, because I'm not quite liking what the airplane is doing to us up here, right? We've got, ooh, John Wayne default scenery. Let's do that, right? Should we divert to John Wayne? That'll be spicy. Let's do it. Alright, so there's a couple different ways to do that. First things first, obviously going to discuss with dispatch. Going to have to get an amendment. Talk to ATC, what's your plan, what's your diversion, and this is not an emergency diversion, this is a precautionary diversion. So let's just go ahead and start the process. All right, Cactus 357, Roger, here you want to go to John Wayne. That's affirmative. Well, we shouldn't go there if we have a reverser in op. That's a bad one. Let's not do John Wayne. I didn't think about that. Let's go to... Let's just go to LAX. Let's go to LAX. Cactus 357, Roger, diverting to LAX. Fly heading 260. Descend and maintain 330. And you can expect the Angel 4 arrival to have that loaded up. Copy that, Cactus 357. All right, thrust throttle, open descent. We're going down to 260. Now let's load up the box. So I'm going to go here to a non-active waypoint. So we're going to go L3 in this case. New destination. I'm going to load in LAX, Cam's favorite place. New destination, LAX. Let's go ahead and insert that. I'm expecting the Angel 4 arrival. I'm going to land 25 left, and I can expect the Angel 4. We'll go ahead and do Novia. We're going to insert that. Boom. Cactus 357, present position, direct to CAN intersection. And descend and maintain 14,000. So we're going to descend and maintain 14,000 direct to CAN intersection for Cactus 357. So we've got 14,000 set. Someone needs to start working on a METAR for me. We got to get down. We're a little bit behind the curve. So let's go thrust idle, open descent, spoid brakes out. And they're coming up nice and slow. Like to see that. Looking good. Some weird XP12 anti-lasing stuff going on. Oh, that's weird. You can kind of see like a shadow thing going on under there. That's weird. All right, so, and look at this altitude. Look at VLS. Hold on, this is cool. I'm going to put the speed brakes away. Look at VLS going away. That is 100% realistic. That's why you got to be careful when you start doing these big flight control manipulations up here at altitude, especially with speed brakes. But see how VLS is off the screen? And then look, I'll go ahead and bring it up here at 34,000 feet. It's no joke. It'll come up and mess with you. If you were a heavy 321, you'd probably be in VLS already. But all right, we're coming down to 14,000 direct to CAN. And now let's look at is there a published hold? We got to find if there's a published hold. And we're going to test this out as well. So I'm going to load up KLAX, and we're going to go to the Angel 4 arrival. We're going to see if the database holds are functioning as planned. I don't know if there's a hold inside of Angel on this arrival, though. There is at Salty. It's kind of hard to read. Oh, we're already past it. Boyle has a hold at 14. Cactus 357 hold is published over Boyle. Await further instructions. ZFC is be 14 or 0150. Copy. So I want to go database hold 240 right turns. Boom. Insert. And look at that, guys. That matches exactly the chart, so as it should. So let me go ahead and put this back over here. We don't need this. Put you back over here. Look, here is our Boyle hold. 060 outbound, 10-mile legs at 14,000 feet. 10 for 10 Toliss has got database holds locked in. So we're going to hold over Boyle, descending to 14,000 feet. GNR's got the weather for me. Let's go ahead and prep for the approach. So we're going to go change this. We're going to go LAX in here. I'm just going to put the main airport in there for now. Perf data, next phase approach for LAX. Thank you, GNR. 040 on the wind is calm. Temperature is 25. Beautiful. That's 75 degrees Fahrenheit. I love that. 29er, 9er7. Man, what a beautiful day. No wonder Cam loves LA, man. What a beautiful day out there. MDA, I should know this by heart. Cam, what's the MDA for 25 left? I should know this by heart by now. ILS 25 left. What now? 304 on the ILS. Fuel, right tank pump 2, low pressure. Right tank pump 2 off. I had this. Jeez. Right tank pump 2 off. Back on. No, it's done. So, all right. Clear fuel, clear fuel. Right tank pump 2, reverser 1. You know what is ironic, guys? I had a fuel tank pump go out on me yesterday, too. That's scary weird. Is it not? All right, so hopefully we'll enter the hold here at Boyle. We'll see how she enters the hold. Let's go ahead and stow the speed brake. We can essentially hold at CI0 above 24. Let's see what it does. Not allowed. We're already in the descent phase. That's fine. Circuit breaker chipped rear panel. What is happening with this airplane? We are losing it, folks. We are losing it. Circuit breaker rear panel. Right wing tank pump 2 supply. Okay, we're not going to reset a fuel circuit breaker pump. We're going to leave that off. At this point, I'm going to start thinking about this airplane's coming apart, the engines. LA Center Cactus 357. Just as a precaution, we'd like to go ahead and declare an emergency right now. We'll go ahead and squawk 7700. And actually, that's hijacking, isn't it? 7600. We'll squawk 7600. And we'd like to get emergency back into LA at 25 left. Cactus 357, copy all. Continue right turn. Proceed direct Honda. Descend and maintain 10,000. Crash, fire, and rescue. Be standing by. Copy that, Cactus 357. Descend and maintain at 10,000 feet. So 10,000 is set. We're coming down. I think Phantom is doing the maintenance. Exactly, man. Is this 7,700? 7,700. What's 7,600? There he goes. The 3 emergencies I've declared in real life. One was a radio. That was 76. Thank you, Duffman. That's what it is. 77. Yeah. So I've had 3 that I can remember. 3 real life emergencies declared. One was 7,600 for radio loss. That was that was not an airliner. 2 in the Airbus. Neither time have I ever, actually no, 1 in the Airbus and 1 in an Embraer, and neither time did I change the squawk code. So I don't know if that's just a US thing or I don't know. I'm not quite sure why. I was never instructed to by ATC, and it was in our books really to do it. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of weird just how it worked out. And when you're in ATC, they know they've already marked you. I think I talked to Phantom about this before. All right, we're going direct to Honda. Insert. Please turn right. It turns right because the hold is right turns. Love it. We're coming around. We're at a 2-1, descending to 10,000. Terrain is up. LS push buttons on. We'll do manual brakes. Full reverse. 2-5 left. Briefing is completed. We're going direct to Honda. And speed is managed, so we're looking good. This actually looks pretty good out there. Look at this. Damn, that looks good. Cartage roll, no more engine failures, but the airplane is coming apart at its seams. We had fuel tank, now we've got a circuit breakers popping. There's something going on with this airplane, so we're going to put it on the ground right now. That's the weather here right now, Cam, is low clouds. Excellent. I knew you loved XP12. Jeez, Carla. I like the Toliss, man. Look at that. That is beauty right there. XP12 is still very much annoyance. But I love the Toliss in it for sure. All right, we're at 18,000 feet. 29907 was the meter. I think we set correctly, right? Yes, 29907. Push 2997 is set. We're going direct to Honda. And we're coming in. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. We're looking good. We're emergency aircraft. Down to 10. Diverting to LA. Beautiful. Jack Mackey. Right now we're flying over Orbix. We're flying over the Orbix, California. So it is not default ground. And I do not know what the default LA looks like at all. So I just brace yourself for who knows what when we come out of the clouds here. Gustavo, yeah, it doesn't look that bad. Under delivering but early act. And that's so when I say it's frustrating me, it's the most frustrating part for me in X-Plane right now is because I just want to jump in. I want to fly all of our we're a generation of now, right? We want everything now. I want to fly. I want all my old airplanes compatible. I want all my sceneries compatible. None of it's compatible yet. It's just going to take time. It will get there. But, you know, like, and then I think of all the stuff I have to install. Like, I got to get the ground handling stuff. I got to get a couple more sceneries, more plugins, landing rate plugins, all that stuff. I'm like, oh, man, really? I got to do that again? But I'll get there. I'll get there. But this looks nice right here. I'll tell you what, this looks really dang good. Can't blame my engine for these failures this time. I know, Carter. I blame myself, believe it or not. I actually blame myself on this one. We're still high on path. Yeah, we're high on path. Let's go speed brakes out. We need to get down. I blame myself because this is, I've always told you guys, like, the minute you don't do a secondary flight plan is when you're going to lose an engine. And literally, we lost an engine when I didn't do this. I don't know why. I just skipped it in the pre-flight. I think I was too blown away by the perf data. By the perf data being so awesomely implemented that I forgot all about my secondary flight plan and what happens at 5,000 feet in the climb out. We have an engine roll back. Unreal. Did you notice we have default chevrons? Yes, I did, Cam. I saw you post that. I did see that. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed. Clouds look decent right here. I mean, I think the Microsoft ones look better, but they'll get improved, I'm sure. Remember when Microsoft first came out, the clouds looked like mashed potatoes. Now they look amazing. You know, this is the first rendition, I think, of the clouds. Not terrible, but we need to focus on flying this airplane. There's 10. Let's continue down to 7. No, no, no. Don't speed up. 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 Rookie move. Thrust throttle open descent. Just killed myself there. We're going to select speed 250 knots. Yeah, I know you're going to blink at me. 250. Thrust throttle descent. Perf. Activate. Confirm. Cactus 357, descend and maintain 3,600. What is happening? Okay, you know what? You're done. You're done. Auto thrust is done. Off. Thrust throttle open descent. Speed brake is out. Clear auto thrust. I feel like I hear a button clicking. Do you guys hear that? Weird. It was just me. Alright, 319, she's coming down and slowing down. I thought I put the MDA, did I not? I did not, I guess. 211. Martin, that'll be on SOP of the airline, depends on the airline. Thrust lever? No, it's steady now. It sounds, the button is it's like a ECAM button or something, like one of the soft keys. Cactus 357, you are 20 miles from Honda. Maintain 3,600 until established. Cleared ILS 25 left approach. All right, cleared ILS 25 left approach. Cactus 357. We never got our lights on either, but we don't have ATC. We'll go ahead and turn that on. Now, in real life here, I'm not going to arm this up yet because you're still so far the airplane will hunt. It'll have a tendency to hunt back and forth a little bit. Oh, that's a pretty shot, though. Some FMOD packs assign something to the sound of the do nothing. Huh. All right, thank you, Gabriel. I don't know what it is. I can definitely hear it, though. I mean, this looks pretty good. Doesn't look half bad right here, right? .25 left is 304 on the barrel. That seems high. Oh, it is 304. Thanks. I don't know where I got 211 from. Thank you. All right, X-plane sunset landing. Haven't done one of these yet. All right, there's Alt Star. Speed, auto thrust. Yeah, they changed the iPad too. It's over here. My frames are tanking. I can tell you that right now. Oh, speed brake is out. All right, so Orbix TE is not fully compatible. My frames are, look at that. We're actually going below 20 FPS. I'm just going to disconnect from Xpilot. I don't need you on. Still haven't even picked up the localizer yet. We're so far out. Should be picking it up though. ILAX 1099. Wow, I actually have a skipped frame? LA is a frame killer in X-Plane 12? I did not know that. Well, rip stream. Again, this is Orbix TE. This is not default. Nope, auto brake is in. Yeah, ailerons. I'd have to adjust some sliders. I'm uninstalling Orbix until they come out with a compatible version. I'm not playing this game of importing things, but I just had to fly. I had to fly the Toliss. Yeah, we're getting some frame hits here. Default LAX, but Orbix scenery Carta, so I don't have an airport add-on. I just have the Orbix. We get to fly over SOFI. Is it included in the Orbix? All right, let's go ahead and arm. Whoa. That's why you don't do that. Let's go ahead and no. That's why you don't do that just yet. We'll stay in nav mode. We'll go ahead and come back to 180 knots. Let's get our views set up. Boom, boom. Yeah, Orbix is definitely not updated for it as far as 12 goes. I'm not sure the zoom level for Orbix, Daniel. I'm not sure. Is there ACARs in Toliss and X-Plane 12? You have some functions of ACARs. Yeah, you've got your perf data, which is amazing. VFE next minus 10 flaps 1. Should get a status message here. There we go. We got right tank pump 2, reverser 1, clear status, clear status. So yeah, I recommend it. I mean, yeah, you have some ACARs. Nothing like Hoppy though, like messages to each other. I don't think there's any of that. Uh-oh, Gustavo, really? Yeah, I think that's what happened with my San Francisco. The Phoenix minus 10 flaps 2. Yeah, frames are dying. Very red sunset. I know. This reminds me of P3D lighting. Does it remind you guys of P3D lighting? That orangish hue. All right, glide slope star, log star, cat 3 dual pilot 1+2, double star. You can always land on the 405. Yeah, Javier, I think the trees have an issue too. Rip frames, yep. Rip X-plane. Power Jinx, do I recommend you buying the V3 throttle and side stick? Yeah, man, of course, absolutely. Why else would I be using it? I got videos, I've got extensive videos on both the thrust levers and the side stick, so make sure you check them out. Sun through the clouds there. Yeah. These H-bomb sunsets need a little tweaking. Yeah, Cam, there's not going to be any free pavement on the 405. That's the truth. That is the truth, my friend. All right, we're going to take it down 180 knots. We're going to take it all the way down to about 2,000 feet above, and then we're going to manage it up. and we'll go from there. We'll get rid of the terrain. So we're going to see how the drag model works. We should easily be stable by 1,000 feet. As soon as we hit 2,000 above touchdown zone, which is 100 feet, so 2,100, we'll start managing. Yeah, Gina, our sun still comes through the clouds, my friend. The sky looks like when the African dust comes across the Atlantic to Florida. That's true, it does. All right, manage speed, gear down. VFNX minus 10 flaps 3. VFNX minus 10 flaps full. Bang, bang. Arm you. Oh, come on, don't do that to me. This is so strange. What? Engine 1 generator fault. I'm starting the APU. We gotta get this puppy on the ground. We gotta get this puppy on the ground. Alright. Clear electric. We're landing. Autopilot's coming off. I'm done. We need to get on the ground. We need to get... Mike Investor, what's up with the ECAM message countdown, man? You're killing me, dude. Alright, I'm gonna go auto thrust off as well, so I can kind of get a feel for it. Alright, we got below the glide slope there. We're worried about the ICAM, or ECAM. Cactus 357, you can sidestep runway 25 right. Copy, sidestep 25 right, Cactus 357. We're going to sidestep because we're emergency aircraft. Bird on. Give me the birds in chat. Birds in chat. We're sidestepping to 25 right. If I had an FO with me, he'd be able to swap the box around. Oh, we just lost all of our scenery, or all of the lighting is gone. This is spicy. What was that trigger? I know, we're going to get a glide slope warning because we're on the wrong runway. It's coming apart at the seams, folks. It's coming apart at the seams. We got this, though. We got a stricken aircraft. APU is up and running. Glide slope check because it's on 25 left. We're landing 25 right. Runway's in sight.
200. Minimum.
In sight. We're landing. Uh-oh. We're frozen. Oh, we got lights coming on.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Alright. Spoilers. Now, why can't I get reverse thrust? I got reverse thrust on one engine. Alright, there we go. I've had this fault before. We're just going idle. Something is funky with the reverser on this. I'm definitely having funky engine reverse thrust. Maybe it's a control binding. So like, can I go? So I can go to reverse on engine 2, but it spools them up. Langoliers. PG&E blackout. Oh my God. I don't know. Why does it look like the planet is not? Isn't reverser 1 and op? Yeah, reverser 1 is in op, but you should still be able to deploy it. Now, or not deploy it, but you should be able to get reverser 2. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to, we'll just do a, we're going to do some testing here on the ground, and then we'll look at the replay. We don't need to shut it down. But, because I'm not going to taxi around in this PG&E blackout here. I'm going to be uninstalling my Orbix for sure until it is fully compatible with 12. The Toliss, though, I will tell you, the Toliss is handled nice. It threw me for some surprises today. Toliss has been throwing the surprises at me. So let's figure out this situation here. I'm going to go to the faults. Look at everything that we have. Left engine generator, fail. Reverser 1, fail. Engine 1 start, fail. So if we had an engine 1 out, we had that would not work. Engine 2 failed recoverable. I'm glad we declared emergency when we did, and I'm glad we we got her on the ground when we did, because I would not want to be flying that airplane all the way to San Jose. We made the right call. Now let's see. We've cleared the faults. Let's see if the reverse thrust works as intended. So I've got positive thrust, reverser. Yeah, reverse works fine. So there might be something worth noting. I might have to mention that. I might have to try to repeat that and mention that to Toliss. So when you get these reverser faults, for some reason, when you get a reverser fault, the engine wants to go forward thrust. So let me just go here. Let's see if we can redo it. Engine 1. Engine 1, reverser fail. Now. Okay, apply. Engine 1 reverser fault. Okay, so I'm going to bring number 2 into reverse. And with number 2 in reverse, let me brighten it up a little bit here. Number 2 is in reverse, okay. And if I bring number 1 into reverse, inadvertently, I'm getting forward thrust. I'm getting forward thrust. So, should not get anything here. But maybe they just don't want you to put that second thrust lever in reverse. Now, the reason that we've kind of, I'll bring up the cam so you can see this. So when you have a reverser fault, it is, at least that's the way that I've been taught, it is good practice that when you land and you're going to do idle reverse, because you don't want to have asymmetrical reverse thrust, but you want to put them both into the idle reverse detent. The reason being is if you should have to do a go around here, and if you're single engine, there is potential for confusion of which thrust lever you need to be moving. So you're supposed, I don't know. I mean, but why? Yeah, you could just not put it in reverse, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to ask someone about that. But if you have a reverser fault and you go into reverse, you get one reverse and then you get forward thrust on the other one. Weird. All right. Plus, it could be a false error, yeah. So it definitely seems like a bug. Now, I will tell you from personal experience, yesterday I had an LG CIU2 fail. And what happens is you lose a reverser. So I lost engine 2 reverser. On landing, I still put both thrust levers into the idle reverse detent. And believe it or not, the number 2 engine thrust reverser actually deployed as it should have. And we've got reverse green on it. But I didn't put it into reverse. So I'm not quite sure what now that's, we're talking a difference of hundreds of millions of dollars for an airplane versus an add-on on a sim. So we're kind of splitting hairs there, but yeah, that would just be, use that as caution. If you have a reverser fault, do not put that associated thrust lever in the reverse detent. But all right, cool deal. Let's take a look at the replay and then, I'm wiped out, man. We were going to do more, but we've been on for 2 hours, and we had been on it here for 2 hours, and that was a lot of work we did there recently. So let's take a look at our landing. Let's do it from the runway view here, or flyby view. That's not the right runway. That's not the right runway. Okay. You get reverser failure and Toliss sets you up for the TAM 3054 accident. Ooh, is that the one that, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think you're right. Got to be careful on that. I do like the new lights, the new light effects. Now, why can't I get to the runway view? All right, that's the runway I wanted. Oh, yeah, that was pretty good. I'll take it. Nice little wing flex. And we had our reverser issues. All right. I wish we could see more. I wish we could adjust the time in replay here like we can in Microsoft. Let's see if I hit play, it goes dark. Yep. Dang. That's one thing I really do like about Microsoft, being able to adjust that replay time. little side loaded, but not bad. I'll take it for everything that we had going on today. Runway lights look good. Reflections look good. Definitely promising. Definitely promising. There's 1,000 footers. Set her down. Boom. I'll take it. Could have been a little juicier. I will say this. My landings yesterday in the 319 were 10 for 10, especially the one in Miami. It was just butter. Butter. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. I need to do a couple things here around the house. We got some stuff happening this evening, so I'm going to wrap it up early. Next stream will probably be... We might be back in Microsoft. We might be doing our long haul. So get ready for that. It's going to be exciting. Going to be a long, long day. I got to figure out what we're going to do during cruise. Maybe we'll do a mock Airbus check ride, oral examination. Might do some throwback podcast, something like that. So it should be fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope you were at least a little bit entertained. We had some crazy faults happening on this flight. I'm going to have to go ahead and dial back the flight time factor of my faults now, because with all these additional faults, I think it's really bumped up the amount of the percentage of failures you can get. So the nice thing is you can tweak it so you can have less failures if you don't want to deal with it, especially if you're doing a long haul. You know, you don't want to have engines fail out over the Atlantic. But that's it for now. See yous in chat. Thank you for all the donos. Thank you for the new subscribes. Thank you to Toliss. Thank you for my donators of memberships. You guys are absolutely awesome. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in maybe this weekend. We'll see. I'm V1. Stay safe. Stay healthy. See you.